Most of the students who get admitted to BAMS, they have a kind of fear in the beginning about the course because they are going to learn something which they never ever heard or never knew anything about that. And second important thing is the language, Sanskrit. Most of the students have fear about Sanskrit. My dear friends, Sanskrit is not a big problem here. I first came to know about Sanskrit when I got admitted into BAMS. And by the time I reached second BAMS, I was able to read the Sanskrit, understand it, and also read the commentaries also. And same is true with most of the Ayurvedic physicians. We can learn the basic Sanskrit that is needed to read and understand our texts, Ayurvedic texts, Samhitas, which are in Sanskrit, and they are available in translated versions of, you can buy in any language. You can buy them in your mother tongue or even English, Hindi, anything. The main problem is our preoccupied mind and our perceptions about the subject and Sanskrit. Whatever we do, we have done so far, we have done somewhere for the first time, and we became expert in that. Everything is new, but still we do that and we become expert in that. One more common problem, or it's a kind of belief among the students, that they think about the +1 and +2 marks. The more the marks they have got in +1 and +2 means the more intelligent, and less the marks means less intelligent. It's not like that. Please don't have such perceptions. You have got a BAMS seat means you are worth it. The only thing that is going to matter is how best you are going to learn Ayurveda, how best you are going to utilize your stay at an Ayurvedic college. That is going to make the difference. So today we are going to discuss about what are the stages, what are the best ways to learn Ayurveda and understand it and practice Ayurveda. Namaste friends, myself Dr. Mahesh, Savalagimath. I am teaching Ayurveda and practicing Ayurveda dermatology since 14 years. Welcome to my channel, Dr. Mahesh speaking. Many times we come across that what we learn in college usually is not utilized into our jobs or into anything, that occupation we go after as a result of that particular qualification. I have asked many engineers and who are my friends, relatives and all. They say that what the knowledge they learn, what information they get, what they learn as part of curriculum of engineering, usually they do not use it when it comes to their occupation or profession. But when it comes to medical profession, it is exactly opposite, particularly Ayurveda. What we are learnt, what we are going to learn, or what we are taught during the education during the complete course of BAMS is 100% utilized in clinical practice or in professional development. That means we need to develop our knowledge cumulatively. Cumulatively means what we learn in first BAMS is not to be forgotten, it is to be retained, and when we enter into second BAMS, we learn second BAMS on the basis of what we learned in first BAMS. And same is true with the third BAMS, internship, and all these entire course what we learnt is going to be the backbone or is going to be the weapon of our professional development. The knowledge and skill that's accumulated in this way is going to determine how successful we are going to become in the field of Ayurveda. As a healthcare professional, we need to be experts in our field, and that expertise is gained during our education, during our teaching, when we go into a BAMS or any degree. Particularly we are discussing about BAMS. Acharya Sushruta very nicely explains in third chapter of Sutrasthan. He says, Yastu kevala shastrajnaha karmasu aparinishthitaha sa muhyat aturam prapya birum eva ahavam. Means the one who is expert in theoretical knowledge, who has gained all the information that is there, all the knowledge there in the text, but is unskilled. he is not having any skills about how to utilize that one, such person will fail in clinical practice. Such person feels incapable, develops fear when attends the patient, like that of a soldier who never developed any skills to use the weapons when attends any war. Further he says, yastu karmasu nishnato darshya shastra bahishkrutaha sa satsu pujam na apnoti vadam charchati rajataha. He further says that physician is also not useful. The one who has gained all the skills, who is expert in performing therapies, examination and all, he has learnt that by attending another physician, but who is not having any textual knowledge, who is not having any shastra jnana, that person is also not respected. That person is treated as harmful to the society, like that of a violent wild animal, which whoever comes come across with such a violent wild animal that kills or harms that person. He further says, Ubhavetav anipunav asamartav swakarmani ardha veda darav etav ekapaksha eva dvijav. So what he says, both of these, the one who is having very good textual knowledge and the one who is having very highly skilled, both of these are of no use. Both of these cannot fulfill their responsibilities, cannot fulfill their duties, cannot give justice to the duties of a physician, of an Ayurvedic doctor, because these two are considered as half knowledge. They are not complete. Like he gives a simile of a bird with a single wing. A bird with a single wing cannot fly. So we don't want to become a bird which cannot fly. A bird means it is a symbol itself. A bird means it symbolizes flying. But a bird which is not having normal, which is not having proper wings, which is having a single wing, cannot fly. So for namesake, it's a bird. So we don't want to become a namesake physician, Ayurvedic physicians. So what we need to do, we need to become a flying bird with a very good, strong both wings, by becoming both Shastrajna and Karmajna, by gaining both thorough textual knowledge, expertise. We need to become expertise in textual knowledge, as well as we should be 100% skilled, so that we can fly high in the field of Ayurveda. We can be successful Ayurvedic physicians. So how we should study Ayurveda, then how we should approach to the Ayurveda. As we all know, Ayurveda is the ancient science. So there must be something that we need to follow the same way. Ancient science is to be learned in the same fashion. Technology is to be used. We can use technology, but the way, the approach should be same. So there are 4 stages of learning Ayurveda, or we can call them as ancient ways of learning anything. Adhiti, Bodha, Acharana and Pracharana. So these 4 are the stages we can consider like stages of learning anything. So here we are going to use them as stages of learning Ayurveda. Now what is Adhiti? Adhiti means it is the first stage of learning. It is accepting. It is like whatever is taught, we need to accept it as it is. It is where we are going to learn basics of Ayurveda. This is the way how we are going to, Adhiti is the way we are going to learn Ayurveda. Adhiti means we are going to accept as it is. If we are being taught like there are 2 doshas, Charirika doshas, Manasika doshas, so we are going to accept it. Yes, there are 2 doshas, Charirika doshas, Manasika doshas. There are Pancha Mahabhutas, there are Sapta Dhatus. So these all are basics. We are not going to question them. So we need to accept it as it is, and we should not at this stage. This is the first stage of learning of basics of Ayurveda. So we should not question anything. There should not be any question. It's like learning alphabets. My dear friends, we all have learnt our language, whether it is Kannada or any language, English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Marathi, Telugu, whatever your spoken language is there. So our first teacher was our mother, or any teacher, our first teacher, when taught us when our teacher said this is a, write like this and pronounce it like this, or this is a, write like this and pronounce it as a, then b, like that. So we accepted that. Yes, a, this is a, this is a, this is b, like that. So we accepted that. So that is why we were able to learn the alphabets, we were able to learn the language. And same is true with learning of Ayurveda. In the first stage, that is Aditi, that is why we need to accept everything. If we don't think, like when we were taught this is A, this is B, this is A, this is I and all, at that time, if we question, no, I will not write it as A, or I will not say it as A, then we would never have learnt the language. And same is true with Ayurveda. If we are not going to accept what is taught as basics, what we are going to learn as basics, if we are not going to accept it, then we will not learn Ayurveda. Then what does that mean? We are not supposed to question anything. Then how we are going to understand, how we are going to develop our knowledge? Yes, my dear friends, that is the second stage of learning Ayurveda, that is called as Bodha. Bodha means it's understanding. First, Aditi, accepting. Whatever is told, we are going to accept it. Bodha is the stage where we have accumulated the information. That information is going to become knowledge now. That information, what we know, that anything that we get into our mind, that information becomes knowledge when we understand it. Information becomes knowledge when we understand it. So second stage is Bodha, where all the possible efforts are made to understand what we have learnt in Aditi, to get all our questions about Aditi, what we learnt in the stage of Aditi, to get all our questions answered. And this is done by two ways. There are two stages for this: self-evaluation and discussions. So in this, what happens? Self-evaluation, we get questions: why, who, what, when, all those things, all those questions about basics, what we learned first, we accepted it. Okay, now we accepted, so we start getting why Vata is Chala, why Madhurasa is going to reduce Vata, why Snigdha, that is why Grita or oil is going to reduce, subside Vata. We are going to get questions now. So those questions are to be answered. We need to find answers for those questions by ourselves. And if we won't get any answer for that, if we are not satisfied with what answer we on ourselves got by reading several books, going through several notes and all, then we need to go for discussion. We need to ask same questions. What is our aim is? Our aim is get all our questions answered. So we need to go to others whom we feel as better than us. It can be your classmate, it can be your senior, your teachers, anybody, whoever you feel can answer your question, who can solve your doubts, clear your doubts. You are going to discuss with those people. That is the second part of Bodha. And ultimately, what we are going to do? Ultimately, we need to get all our questions answered. There should not be any unanswered questions before we go into the next stage of learning. But very important is, many questions remain unanswered in these two stages, and those questions get answered when we enter into the next stage. That is called as Acharana. This is the third stage. Aditi, we accepted. Bodha, we understood what we accepted. We understood that. We got some questions. We got answers for that. Then application of that knowledge. So information has become knowledge now. So third stage is applying that knowledge and developing skills. The skills that we got, the knowledge we got, that is applied now, that we are going to apply. That is done under two. One is, it is done under supervision. It can be throughout your BMS, where like you may be given some tasks or some projects, or you may be asked to do something like assess somebody's Prakriti or something like that. And main thing, that you people spend 365 days in hospital as internship, where you will be applying those things, or you will be observing others, your teachers or the physicians applying same principles, same knowledge in patients, and you will be observing that. Drishta karma, you are going to observe that and you are going to learn by that. After all this, your learning process is not ending there. Further you will learn by applying same knowledge in your personal clinical practice, in your personal, whichever profession related to Ayurveda you are going to. Like if you are going into pharmaceuticals, like manufacturing medicines and all, that you have learnt, and now you are going to, that you learnt under supervision, now you are going to start preparing medicines on yourself. So that is the third stage of learning Ayurveda, Acharana, application of the knowledge and skill that we got into the practice, application of that. And the last stage of learning Ayurveda is Pracharana. Friends, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and also like the video. So the fourth stage is Acharana. Acharana means transferring the knowledge and the skills that we gained through Adhiti, Bodha and Acharana to next generation. That is preaching or teaching of Ayurveda to next generation. So in this, again by teaching also, I am going to share, when I am teaching, I am going to share my experience, and simultaneously my knowledge is going to improve. My knowledge is again going to improve. So by sharing the knowledge, knowledge increases. This is the fourth stage of learning Ayurveda. Pracharana, teaching what we have learnt, what knowledge we have got, what skills we have got to the next generation. So above all, what is very important is you should understand the purpose why you are in a BMS college. Some of you may say that I opted for BMS, some of you may say I had no option. So whether it is you came by chance or by choice, that is over, you have entered into BMS course. Now your understanding, your aim is the purpose. You need to find out the purpose. You have landed there, you have entered into BMS course, means you should know the purpose. You should be having that clear aim of becoming successful Ayurvedic physicians, successful Ayurvedic professionals. So your focus throughout the education should be on that. You should be responsible. Whatever actions you do, you are responsible. So responsible means whatever time you are spending, whatever money you are spending, you should always think of that. That thinking will keep you always awakened, will keep you always feel responsible for your future. Whatever actions you are taking, you start defining them. You will not, vaguely, you will not do anything. You will not waste time and all. So be consistent. Like these stage of learning. For example, if you are reading every day 2 hours, so maintain it consistently. If you are reading 3 hours, maintain it. Be every day you should read 3 hours. So that consistency should be there. I personally recommend you people to read at least 4 hours, minimum 4 hours a day. By all, without making any adjustments, very clearly we get 4 hours. You can get 4 hours and you have to study 4 hours minimum. And be ready to learn from every sources. Whoever you feel is able to teach you, whoever you feel is going to answer your questions, learn from them. Whether they are juniors, seniors, teachers, doesn't make any difference. Our aim is we want to learn Ayurveda. So that should be there in our mind. So hope to see you all budding Ayurveda generation, those who are getting entry into the field of Ayurveda now, as it's a time where you all have taken admission to BMS. I want to see you all as successful Ayurvedic professionals. All the best for that. So that's it, friends, in this video. Hope I was able to give some good information about how to study Ayurveda and learn Ayurveda. If it is worth, please like the video and also share with all seekers of Ayurveda, all newly admitted BMS students. And if you have any queries, please write to me in the comment section, and please write also your suggestions and opinions about this video in the comments. Thank you for watching the video. Stay healthy, stay happy. Wish you a very happy journey into the new world of science, the Ayurveda, towards which the entire world is turning. Namaste.